But we'll move on to a controversial ending to a game with the Kansas City Chiefs. And we all saw it yesterday if you watched the games. They were trailing by, I believe, 3, right? They were trailing by 3.
Yeah, they were down 3.
20-17. And it came down to, I believe it was something like a 3rd and 5 around there. And, I mean, the Bills, season on the line, looked like we both thought the Chiefs were going to go down and get at least a field goal. We thought 100%. I think they were very close to field goal range right there. One more first down.
They're about at the 50, I think. Yeah, 45, 50.
Right. One more first down would have done it. I think it was a 3rd down and 5, if I remember correctly. And we saw the flag come out right when this play started. We weren't sure if it was a procedure or if it was offsides. And obviously the ball is thrown to Kelsey. It's a strike. He's wide open. And we have this wild fucking play where he laterals the ball backwards to Kadarius Toney. And Kadarius Toney, for about 3 seconds, thought he was the hero and he had redeemed all the shit he's done the last, 7 or 8 games. And instead, he becomes the villain once again because the flag is for an offsides and it's on the offense. And this is the controversial part of it. Now, I'll go ahead and give my quick take on this, okay? We heard from Gene Steratore and from a couple other people yesterday. Every single main official who talked about this said this call was correct. It's been a point of emphasis all year. We saw it in week 1. We saw this called in the first game, Kansas City and Detroit, and the commentators said this is a point of emphasis this year. They're going to call offsides on the offense a lot more. It's been called going into last night 11 times this year, whereas it's been called 3 times the 2 previous years combined. We saw it called last night on the Philadelphia Eagles. And you didn't see anybody whining about it then. Now, we don't need referees to tell us that this was offsides. Anyone with 2 fucking eyes could see that Kadarius Toney was a full yard offsides. I mean, the entirety of his body was past the ball, and the Chiefs, whether they score or not there, is irrelevant. I was so annoyed, and I know you were too, with Patrick Mahomes going out there and acting like this referee decided the game and wanted to, watch the play unfold and then threw the penalty. The penalty was thrown at the beginning of the play.
Yeah, he had no idea that was going to unfold.
Exactly.
And he got it right.
He got it right.
The guy was lined up a yard offside. It wasn't even close. If it's something like somewhat of a judgment and it looks like a little bit. He was covering the whole ball. You couldn't even see the fucking ball. His head was lined up with a Bills player. You see the guy who's lined up correctly, and he's a full yard and a half behind him.
Yep.
And Steratore, one of the refs, pointed that out. I mean, it's stupid, and they touched on it on part of my take a little bit. I was telling you, it's absolutely hysterical that you have the Chiefs complaining about a call that was rightfully called that decided a crazy play in the regular season and said officials need to quit deciding games, yet the officials decided the Super Bowl with a hold in the end zone last year.
A very questionable it's a 50-50 call in the regular season. It was called in the Super Bowl to decide the game.
Patrick Mahomes gets what he thinks is an unfair shake. And I get in a way what he's saying, like that's never been called in the 7 years. But like you said, and all the officials said, it's a point of emphasis this year. They even said it. And then, Andy Reid's like, well, he should have got a warning. The guy's in the fucking slot a yard and a half offsides. He can't get a warning.
Right.
If Tony looked at the official,
and
he would have told him, you're offsides,
right.
Move back. He didn't do that. He just lined up a yard and a half offsides and ran her out. And, of course, it was a cool play. I told you, I've said it for years, especially late games. I'm not an advocate of doing it like in the second quarter, but the lateral is the most underutilized play in football.
Yep.
When there's a minute left or whatever it was, and this was still kind of batshit crazy for him to throw it because all they needed was a field goal. And if you actually look, the guy almost gets a hand on it.
And it was far.
Yeah.
It was not like an easy throw.
He threw a great ball to him. It was right on the money. But my whole point is that's, when if you're down 4 in that situation and not a field goal to tie it, you do it. You know how Travis Kelce is. He does all kinds of crazy stuff.
He's not thinking about the fact that we're down a field goal.
No.
He's thinking
I'm
he's open. I'm going to make a play.
Yeah. But and he's done it a few times in his career. But, yeah, for teams that need to go down the field, in a minute and they don't have any timeouts,
right.
You got to if you don't have to wait for the last play of the game, throw it to someone and then see who's open across the field and chunk it back, see if you can get a big play.
Right.
But like the play, but have zero problem with him throwing a flag that should have been thrown with a guy that's offsides by 1.5 yards.
Yeah, and let's be real here. Kadarius Toney is an Albert fucking Einstein, okay? The guy is not the brightest of the bunch, and, he's made quite a few mistakes in his tenure with the Chiefs. That's why the Giants, who drafted him very early, punted on him very quickly because he has talent. He's obviously very fast and athletic, and he's got, skills, but he makes stupid mistakes. Like you said, if he just pointed at the official like any receiver would do there, normally, you see it 50 times a game. The receiver points, am I good, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's what they do. I watch high school teams where receivers do it every single play. Like, the fact that you are that far off sides and then, don't ask and then you're going to complain about it. And the fact that, to me...
He was in the slot, too.
Yeah, he was in the slot. Yeah? Yes, it was ridiculous.
Jesus.
What bothers me, though, the most about it is I looked on Twitter and saw a lot of the videos of what transpired after it, and it's not just that Mahomes threw an absolute hissy fit after. Everybody has bad moments. He looked like an idiot doing it, but it's the fact of how it continued to... He went, and when Josh Allen was telling him, good game, we don't know what Josh Allen said to him, but he essentially went out to him and high-fived him. They gave a hug, and I heard they had an enhanced audio of it. He literally the entire time was like, fucking game decided on the fucking offside, just offensive offsides, unfucking believable. That's what he was saying to Josh Allen as Josh Allen was saying good game to him. He looked like a fucking child. Just grow up. You lost the game. Josh Allen, they showed a play on the game. I was looking at Twitter, and they showed a play earlier in the game on the final drive where Josh Allen gets knocked in the head. And it would have been a 15-yard penalty. It was on third down, and it would have ended the game right there because they would have been able to run the clock out and kick a field goal. Mm-hmm. And you don't see Josh Allen complaining. He wouldn't have come out in the press conference and been like, well, if they called this hit to the head, we would have won the game. You still had the ball 3rd and 10 after that with a chance to win the game, and you didn't get a first down. You had a 3rd and 10. You needed 1 first down to win the game. Couldn't do it, or to at least get a field goal. And then you go into the press conference and say the same shit. And Andy Reid, I truly believe this. I think Andy Reid knows that was the right call, and I think he's doing it just because Mahomes threw a hissy fit.
Oh, yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. That's what he's doing. He's supporting him, trying not to lose he's not going to say, we can't have Patrick acting like that. He'll probably say something to him, during the week or whatever, but he's going to support him through it. And, he feels like Mahomes feels like they got an unfair shake, which is hilarious because the week before, obviously, the no PI call, which in the NFL, it just drives me crazy. In that situation, it has to be, and they definitely missed that one. I get it. But it needs to be, if you're going to throw a 60-yard penalty that decides the game, it better be assault on the outside where he had zero chance of catching the ball. And that's why I think they just need spot fouls are so stupid for pass interference.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, there should not be a 60-yard penalty because in some of them, it's like the guy bumped them. If it's one where you grab him by the face mask and drag him down, or it's something absolutely egregious, you should be able to make a call and let these officials actually do their job, which we really don't want to give them any more judgment, but they already have. But
I don't either.
When it comes to the 5 or 15-yard face mask too, like they used to have, that should be a thing too.
Yeah, no, we talked about this. Agreed.
I mean, if you pull someone's head off, it's a 15-yard penalty. If you graze their face mask on the running back, it's 5 yards. Same thing should be for pass interference. You throw the ball up 60 yards, maybe he's a little bit too physical, should be a 15-yard penalty.
Right.
If he grabs you by the back of the horse collar and pulls you down so you don't score a touchdown, it's different.
Right.
So,
and there should be degrees of that, and some of those plays should be reviewable, I think, as well. We've talked about that. But in general, you go back to the AFC title game and Mahomes talking about officials deciding the game. How about last year when they played the Bengals, when he's running down the sideline? And it was kind of the same type deal as this.
It was bang bang.
It was bang bang, but by letter of the law, it was a late hit. But that could be let go because it's one of those where the quarterback's running on the sideline. You don't know, is he going to step out? Is he not? He does step out, and as he steps out, the guy hits him. That 15-yard penalty won them the game. And the official did what? He decided the game. Well, that was the correct call.
Yeah.
And people got over that. He didn't say anything about that. That's fine. Oh, the official decided both not only the Super Bowl, but the AFC title game. So he was the beneficiary of 2 penalties that year to win a Super Bowl. So he just needs to really, Patrick just needs to shut the fuck up. He needs to shut the fuck up. It's a bad look for him. Like, it looks like, oh, we haven't lost 2 in a row in a long time, and now things aren't going well for us. Let me act out. Like, grow up. You took a $50 million contract. Understandably, he's worth it. He's incredible. He's one of the best ever. But that is why this is happening, not because of the officials, because you took all the money and now you have no money to spend on receivers. That's why Tyreek Hill is gone. That's why your best fucking receiver is Rashee Rice, who fumbled the ball in a key moment yesterday. How about talk about that? So I'm tired of Mahomes bitching and complaining. Do what Tom Brady did and take a fucking $20 million pay cut so your team can be good enough to go to Super Bowls and win consistently. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. That's my opinion on it.
He's not going to do that. But
no, he never will.
I completely agree.